the first thing I'm going to do is use my Rimmel Wakefield foundation in True Ivory and my Real Techniques buffing brush and just buff this all over the skin. Now I love this foundation this time of year. It's great for summer. It's got a really radiant glow to it. I have normal skin, so it might not be the same for everybody, but I personally don't need to set this foundation at all. And yeah, it's not got the the most amazing lasting power, but it's good enough for me for an everyday foundation. And I'm not usually this dark, but as you can see I've self-tanned, so I'm using it on its own. I'm using my e.l.f. eyeshadow primer in Sheer, and I luckily have a backup because the UK website's no more for e.l.f. at the moment. I'm using 3 Makeup Geek eyeshadows. I've got Peach Smoothie, Creme Brulee and Bitten. They're lovely and warm, and as I'm sure you all know, Makeup Geek matte eyeshadows are really fantastic, although they do kick up quite a bit of powder. So I'm going to speed up this blending process, and I'm just going to use this as a transition colour all up in my crease, just below my brow bone. I do take my eyeshadow quite high, and that's because I have naturally hooded lids. I'm using a 221 Luxe Soft Crease brush by Zoeva. I take it round and sort of put it at the outside of my outer V as well, so that it's going to help me to blend out when I put my outer corner darker shadow in. And you won't find any technical language in any of my videos because I'm not a professional makeup artist. I think that's obvious. I'm not an expert of any kind. So I'm just using now Creme Brulee, slightly lower in the crease, slightly more concentrated in the outer V, or mine would be a reverse 7 rather than outer V with the fact I've got a hooded eye. And I'm also just putting it a little bit less far in to the crease, if that makes sense. So a little bit lower, a little bit less far in, and a little bit more concentrated in the outer corner. And I'm just blending as I go. Next I'm going to use an EcoTools dual-ended brush, and it's the blend side, and I'm just putting on, placing where I want it, the bitten colour. I am going to go out in a moment and blend it out, can't speak today, with my Zoeva brush, but I'm just getting the placement of the colour pretty much where I want it. I'm bringing it up just above the crease in the corner to give myself a bit more definition, and it's a bit more flattering for my hooded eyes. And I'm also just sweeping it a little bit onto the eyelid. There I go with my blending. Now I can't blend this fast, obviously this is sped up for you. Next I'm using my Urban Decay Naked 3 palette. You can get so many dupes out here for this palette, so if you don't have it, don't buy it. I'm using Liar here, and just go and get like the MUA version or the Makeup Revolution version or the W7 version. They're all really good. And I'm just using the brush it came with, the fluffier side, just to pack that colour onto the lid, and then my Zoeva brush I'm using with no additional product, just to buff around the edges. Now I'm reapplying the colour onto the lid, and then I'm just going to blend a little bit more. I just repeat exactly the same thing obviously on the other side. So next I'm going to get a little bit more bitten on the tip of my Zoeva blending brush and just redefine the outer corner. I'm going to do the same on both sides just to make sure that I've got enough definition, and then I'm going to use creme brulee on the tip just to buff out the edges of the crease and make sure everything's as smooth and as blended as I can possibly manage with my skill set. I'm just going to brush off any fallout with my giant Wilko's powder brush, because there is some fallout with these Urban Decay Naked 3 shadows. And then Scarlett joins us. As you probably know if you watch my channel a lot, Scarlett's with me most of the time when I'm not at work, which is how I like it. And so it's just inevitable she'll end up being in videos, and she wanted to wave and say hello and high five, so I thought why not. Next I'm going to move on to eyebrows. I'm actually using, you're sitting down, I'm not using my sleek eyebrow kit in light, I'm actually using an MUA pencil in blonde, and Scarlett said she wanted to do a dance for you, so I thought I'd just let her while as I'm doing my brows. Makes the brow work a little bit more interesting. So I'm just lightly using light strokes to pencil in my brows. Now my eyebrow shapes are two different shapes. I just go with it. It's not a lot I can do about it unless I just want to completely draw my brows on and one side to match the other, and I don't want to do that, so I just live with it. They're sisters and not twins, and I'm cool with it. So I'm just lightly doing my other brow, and this colour's great for red hair because it's actually got warm tones to it. It was a little bit too warm when I had blonde hair, and that's why I didn't really use it very often, but with the tan and with this hair I really love this colour, so I think this might actually be replacing my sleek colour as an everyday eyebrow for me. And the pencil comes with a little spoolie on one side, so I'm using that to brush through. I decided to put a little bit of hair oil spray in my hair just to tame some of the frizz down. I put a lot more actually in than what's showing in this footage, but I lost the footage for it, so yeah, I just really like the effect this gives on my hair. I much prefer it to a serum. It makes my hair really soft. And then I'm using my Body Shop Vitamin E facial spray all over, just to try and take that powdery look off the eyeshadows. It's not the final setting, but it does give me a nice sort of prep for the under eye concealer that I'm going to put on next. So I've got my Rimmel Wake Me Up concealer, and I'm using it under my eyes, and this one's the lightest shade. Now I didn't have a concealer brush to hand, and my eyes are really quite sensitive and feeling a bit sore at the moment because one of them on one side, my right side, just never stops watering. So I'm just gently dabbing around the edges of the orbital bone with my foundation brush, which I used, which is the buffing brush by Real Techniques, and I'm just going to use my fingertip just to gently pat and push into the skin the concealer and the inner corner of my eye where I'm quite dark, and right up to my lash line because I'd just rather not put a brush there at the moment. Absolutely in love with this nail polish varnish at the moment. It's by Technic, which is a brand they sell at Body Care, which is just £1. It lasts really well, and that colour is called Mars, which is like not quite orange and not quite red, somewhere in between. It's absolutely stunning for summer, and I'm really obsessed with it at the moment. Just putting a bit of concealer on the redness on my nose because I've got a slight cold. And also I like a bit of concealer under my bottom lip and on my chin where I have a bit of redness under my bottom lip, and sometimes if I don't put concealer there it can make my lipstick or lip gloss just look a bit messy. Lip liner helps with that, but I don't always like to wear a lip liner, especially if you can't find a corresponding colour to the lipstick that you're wearing. I'm just making sure that's all pressed in. And then next I'm going to go do the bottom lash line, so I'm going to go into 2 shades along from Maya, which is Mugshot. I really love this. I'm not even going to try and describe it, but it's a bit brighter than the factory colour in between, so I decided to go for that. And then I'm going to buff it out with Creme Brulee by Makeup Geek. The brushes I'm using there is the e.l.f. smudge brush for the lower lash line, and then to buff it out I'm using the Wilko's Smoky Eye Brush, which is like a domed crease brush. I really love it, and it's really inexpensive. Then I'm going to go in with the Rimmel Scandalise Waterproof Black Liner, and I've not filmed the putting on the top one because I couldn't get it in shot the angle I needed, but I've just put it 3/4 of the way along my eye, or 2/3 rather, and then I'm putting some in the waterline as well. I didn't used to be able to get away with this when I was blonde, but I can now without it looking too harsh as a redhead. And as you saw there, I like to put the pencil in the corner of my eye and give it a little bit of a wiggle just to make sure that it's connected to the upper work. And I'm going to use the thinner, stiffer end of my Urban Decay dual-ended brush from the Naked palette just to smudge it out and stop it looking so choppy. I'm using this Real Techniques multitasker brush, I believe, with my e.l.f. bronzer in Cool, and I'm swirling around all 4 colours. I'm just using it to try and contour my forehead. I'm not that great at contouring. I mean, I'm not that great at a lot of the things, you know, I just do my best, but with my previous videos I've looked back and I'm not happy with how massive my forehead tends to look, so I'm making an effort at the moment to contour my forehead, and while I'm at it I thought I might as well just put a little bit in my cheekbones as well. I'm not really trying to warm up the face, which is why I've used a Cool one, because I'm warm enough with all this fake tan. I just literally wanted to try and make my forehead look less huge. I'm going to go in and finish off the eyes. I'm taking Strange, which is a matte highlighter from the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette, and I'm just using my Zoeva pencil brush, which is a 230, and it's the Luxe pencil. And I'm using that to just put underneath the brow bone and also blend that and my crease colour together with the same brush. And I've put it in my inner corner as a highlight there as well. Next I'm using my waterproof, because of the leaky eyes, Maybelline The Falsies Volume Express. And I'm really glad I got this. I only got it for my wedding, which I had a couple of months ago, but now that summer's coming and the weather's getting warmer and my eyes are watering more, I mean, I don't have hay fever, but you know, my eyes just water, so I'm really glad I got the waterproof version. I didn't used to like waterproof mascara until I found coconut oil, and I realised it's very easy to get waterproof products off as long as you have the right remover, which for me is coconut oil. So I'm just putting a layer of this, and for the bottom lashes I am flicking upwards to get them because I have very curly lashes and slightly puffy eyes, so my bottom lashes sort of hug the skin, because if you can imagine them being curly and the puffiness together means that they hug each other, so I have to flick up in order to actually stop it transferring all over my face underneath my eyes. Now I've missed some of the footage out here, I lost some of the footage, but I've just put a bit of blush on, which is the e.l.f. blush in Candied Coral. e.l.f. are not good at labelling their products, but I'm pretty sure from memory it's Coral, which is a fantastic everyday blush colour for the summer. And then I'm also using the same lipstick I wore on my wedding day, but it just looks very different. Very, very different now, and it's a collection colour. I think it's called Speakeasy, that's it. And I'm just topping it with NYX Butter Gloss in Peaches and Cream, which I'm absolutely loving at the minute as well. I'm using a lot of my favourite products at the moment in this video. And then another spritz of Vitamin E Face Mist by The Body Shop. And this really helps my under eye concealer not to crease, but without actually using a setting powder. And we're just going in with a second and final layer of mascara. So there's the finished look, guys. I hope you like it. I really love it. In fact, I love it so much I took a photo of it and I'm using it as my YouTube channel and Twitter account profile picture. So don't forget, if you're a curly girl and you love your volume like me, to put your fingers under your curls and fluff them like a mother. So there we go. Big is better. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!